Good morning, afternoon, or evening. I am Everray, and welcome to my podcast, Que Chilerísimo. Alright, guys. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for sticking around with me. Thank you for watching all these entries. And thank you even if you're not watching them. I feel like this is gonna be a pretty exciting entry for this series. And I'm just saying that because I think over the last week, it definitely felt that I was getting the most challenges in the whole summer, just in 1 week. The most trouble, the most hesitation, the most doubt over the entire summer, just in 1 week. So I'm super excited to review this week that passed and see what we can learn, what I can learn from it to be ready for this next week. So, as usual, here is the overview of last week. July 28th, that was my Monday. I took a trade on SPY. That was with my last $30 in my account, $40 in my account. So I took that trade, and that was about it. The rest of the day I spent studying. I probably went to the gym. I think I might have gone to the park too, and then just read some of my mentor books and then some of the other books that I'm reading. Then we have July 29th, which is my Tuesday, which was whatever was missing from that Monday. Tuesday had it and it doubled it. So my contract for SPY was on green initially, as I was talking about that I bought it on Monday. However, then the ETF gave a sign that told me to get off the trade, but I didn't because I felt it could continue to increase the price of the ETF and thus increase my profits. But I ended up losing that entire trade because I prioritized my feeling on that trade more than the strategy and the signs and the trend on that trade. So that's what happens when you listen to your feelings and you ignore the trends in the stock market. But we'll be back. So then I worked 8 hours wrapping the walls at the Frostbank Center here in San Antonio. And for the ones that do not know what that is, that's where the San Antonio Spurs play, which is an NBA team. My favorite NBA team, honestly. And I think we have a really, really great team this year. Hopefully, we can make it to the NBA Finals and actually bring it back home from 2014. I think was the last time we won with Team Duncan. I'm pretty sure that was the last time. Hopefully, we can bring it back home. And then I met up with some advisors about a few problems with the university. I cannot talk much about this until mid-August. And the reason is, and as I was mentioning at the beginning of this entry, I think there's a big problem that I gotta solve with my advisors and with my university. And it could decide my future in the next 15 days. So that's why I don't wanna talk much about it, but I'm just gonna talk more around, middle of August, once I know for certain the resolution of whatever problem that is. And as I said, gosh, I worked for 8 hours wrapping walls on the Frostbank Center. when I said it first, I wasn't really thinking about it, but I spent 8 hours just wrapping walls. I honestly did not like it at all. It was physically exhausting, and they put me in charge of putting all these wraps around the walls because they had to clean the floor and all the chemicals couldn't get to, all the counters or all the walls because it is a nightmare to take off. So I spent 8 hours putting these wraps all around the stadium just for them at the end of everything to tell me, okay, take them down now. While I spent 8 hours wrapping up, I had to take down, and it took me less than 10 minutes to take everything down. And I think that's a really strong reason. I'm just going to highlight it now. It is a strong reason not to stay my whole life at a regular job, because all the effort I put in at the end of the day is not going to count towards anything. It's just going to be taken down by whoever's in charge. And whoever's in charge gets all the credit for it. Because I did the work, but since they are the face of the crew of the business, they get all the credit. They get most of the money. And like I said, all your work is just taken down in seconds like that. So that's probably why I am gonna be a business owner, what I am doing, what I'm doing, because I'm working right now, but I definitely do not see myself working like this my whole life. I definitely see myself as doing more, and if I put my effort on something, I want to make sure that it will not be taken down by somebody else, that it will build for something great. So that's my little side note on that. Then we got July 30. I tested a new strategy on the market, which was effective on the FOMC meeting, and that's just the Federal Reserve of the United States meeting, which is a little bit of specialist in the U.S. economy, talking and giving some sort of news about what's going on in the economy, some of the policies they will be applying over the next few weeks, and also some of the, I guess, performance of the economy as a whole and what they're projecting for the next term, which is every month. So they are reviewing what happened over the last month, and then they give their takes and some sort of a heads up for the next until the next meeting. It was a bit of a risk, but you gotta take risks. There is no win without sacrifice, or there's no glory without sacrifice. Then after that, I attended a meeting to be a mentor for the incoming freshmen at my university. It's over Python, which is a coding language that they use in one of the introduction courses for engineering here at Texas A&M. So I was doing that training. It was fairly easy to understand because I did it last year. So I think it's gonna be super fun helping out the incoming freshmen get a really nice start, get everything set up for their success in engineering, which is a really demanding major and has a lot of demanding classes, especially those first 2 semesters. Then after that, I talked with a friend about a rough time, and it really helped. I talked to the coordinator of Pescadores, which is my youth group organization at Texas A&M at St. Mary's Catholic Church. It really helped, honestly, talking to her. She's super nice. She's super sweet, and it was really nice. Just even if it was just, I think 10 minutes. That's how long the call was. Just, I guess, giving her the update on my situation, which could possibly affect my position as a leader in Pescadores. It was nice. It was definitely nice to just give her the update, and then she asked me how I was doing. So I truly appreciate, you know who you are, so I truly appreciate you for asking how I was doing. And then I got to release some of the pressure I had on my shoulders. I was able to just let out some of the feelings I had at that moment. And it was super beneficial because after that call, I guess I was able to just breathe more easily. So if you are going through something rough right now, call somebody. Make sure you get it off your system, because the longer it stays in, the more damage it's going to do to you, to your mental health and stability, which are key factors in resolving that problem that is causing you all that stress, or that is causing you all that anxiety. So make sure you take care of that. Take care of your mental health, because we are definitely going to need it over the next few days. And then finally, my family held a meeting to talk about some of the next moves to make. And I truly love my family because of this, because they are not, they're just not living by. You know, they're not just staying put. They know that maybe the circumstances are comfortable, but comfortable for them just means that they're staying stuck. That my family is not growing, it's not continuously growing to be better and better and better financially, spiritually, physically. So our family had a meeting, a business meeting, if you want to look at it that way. And we were just discussing some of the ideas that we were thinking at that moment, so we could, I guess, step up our game as a family. So all I can say about the meeting is that some changes can happen very soon. And of course, I'll keep you guys updated, because why not? So we got July 31st, last day of the month of July. And I got to practice a strategy with Apple and Amazon earning reports. So earning reports are published every 3 months and reveal to the world how the companies been performing in the current market, which creates an absurd volatility. Volatility. There you go. And sometimes these moves can usually give up to 30 times the initial investment, although they are very risky to do, and they do require a very large initial investment. But if you can catch one of those moves, those really big moves, then you can make bank in just one day, basically less than one day. I probably say from 4 p.m. all the way to 9:30. I think that's 12. That's probably around like 15. No. That's probably like 16, 15 hours. Right. Yeah, about right. 15 hours. So it's very good. I haven't personally done it yet, but I'm definitely gonna do it when I get the chance. Then after that, I had to meet up again with my advisors because, as I tell you, there is trouble in paradise, and I might have to go to war. Like I said, I'm gonna reveal the problem with my university in about 2 to 3 weeks in a special episode, and then I'm gonna give you guys the resolution of that problem and how we're gonna go about it, which includes kind of like, in a weird way, will include an analysis over how I want my life to play out over the next 5 years, which seems like a lot. However, I think this problem, once it gets a resolution, it's definitely going to allow me to have a clear view and very open mind to just look very far at the future and start planning for it. So that was my Thursday. Now let's go to my Friday, which was August the 1st. August, the best month of the year. Completely biased because it is my birthday in 25 days from that day. But today, since it's August 4, it's 21 days away. So, as I was saying, my Friday, I spend most of the day studying for strategies for trading because that's usually what you gotta do. You gotta just keep studying, keep grinding at it, do some backtesting as well. And by saying some backtesting, I mean like spending 8 hours, maybe even 12 hours some days to just backtest every single one of your strategies to really learn within those strategies what are some of the signs that a specific stock or ETF can give you to either boost your probability of making big profits or increase your risk, which then you can analyze in that same second to then even try to like decrease your potential losses when you're taking such trades. And after that, I also got to finish the book written by my mentor, which also is talking about some of the strategies he uses on day trading. And I got to finish Secret Fire, which is a book. I have it right here, honestly. A friend let me borrow it, and I truly appreciate that friend. You know who you are, so thank you so much. I finished reading the book, and it was so awesome. I think looking at Mother Teresa's life and the concept of divine thirst that was revealed to her by the Almighty Father, I think it's something beautiful, something that really changes your perspective in many ways. So definitely recommend reading it. So that was my Friday. Now, my Saturday, August 2nd, was a really fun one. I took that complete day off because I really needed it. I was really working hard on grinding everything, grinding the podcast, grinding the trading, grinding, my mentorship preparation, grinding my physical health, grinding my mental health, and grinding my. There was something else. Hold on. Grinding my physical, mental. Yeah, it was mental and emotional health. There you go. So I had to take that day off. It is super beneficial to take days off so you can rest up and have enough energy to keep going, because that will lead to consistency instead of just trying to do it every single day and then just burning up. So that Saturday, I went to 2 birthday parties from friends, which is exactly what I needed. A chance to just disconnect from all the grind, from all the hustle, from the pressure and the problems. And like I was saying, so boy, just burning out. So it was super nice. I got to talk to a few of them. and it was awesome. Honestly, definitely enjoy hanging out with friends, hanging out with family. It refills the tank, so I can keep going at it, so I can keep grinding. And we're gonna end it up with my Sunday, August 3rd. First thing in the morning, I went to the junkyard in to look at car parts. For those that don't know, here in San Antonio, we have some sites where any car, any junk cars, the ones that they call junk cars, the ones that really don't work or don't run, they just throw them into this humongous yard, and they charge you a fee to get in. And you can go look at all these cars and all the good parts they still have, because they might have something wrong that doesn't allow the whole car to run or function properly, but it has still a lot of good pieces that one can really save and use in their cars at a cheaper price and with the same quality as probably one of the newest ones. So I went to help out my dad, because that's his business. My dad fixes cars. Sometimes he fixes for clients, sometimes he fixes cars to then sell them, and that's kind of like his little side hustle. Buys cars from the auction that are like have minor inconveniences, that are missing some parts, goes to the ranch or to the junkyard, finds a car, gets the good parts out of it, puts them on the other one, cleans it up really nice, and then we're good to go. And I have worked alongside him for the last 4 or 5 years, honestly, and I have fixed some of the cars. I have also sold a lot of cars, honestly, which definitely gave me like a really nice experience when it comes to selling something, which I didn't know I could use it in so many ways, in so many aspects of my life, even right now in the podcast. So thank you, Dad, for giving me the opportunity to grow as a salesperson. Well, right after that, I went to church, and I do gotta say, it was beautiful. It was one of those churches, it was one of those masses where the gospel really wakes you up from the dream you're trying to live in, which I'm going to talk about in the lessons of the week, which is going to be this next segment. So let's get started with the first lesson. And I have written down here, the moment when you have the least motivation to do something that your future self will thank you for, that is when you jump in and do it regardless. Man, this is good. This is some good stuff, man. Honestly, this is some good stuff, bro. Honestly, man. The moment when you have the least motivation to do something that your future self will thank you for, that is when you jump in and do it regardless. I think I have found less motivation to post my episodes, to record these entries, to even study trading, to go to work, to read, to exercise, to pray. Man, I feel like I don't have no motivation at all to do any of those things. However, when you find the least motivation to do something that my future self, I know he will thank me for, then that just gave me my why to keep going forward. I'm not doing all this because I have some crazy, never ending motivation. I'm doing it because I know where I'm going, because I know who I am doing it for. I'm doing it for my family, my present family, and my future family. I'm doing it for that one listener on every single episode, which I know is my future self. And if I reach other people, then that is just more blessings. But that is the why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it because of the motivation. I'm doing it because I know my why. Because I know that my future self will definitely enjoy the results. Damn. Man, that's probably as much wisdom as I can generate, probably. That's pretty deep. So let's go to the second lesson, shall we? If something's throwing you off your game, don't wait. Solve it, or it may delay your future by years, even if it only takes one day of your present. Now, excuses, there are many all around us. Excuses to not do what we're supposed to do, to not take care of the promises we made to ourselves, we made to others, even. There's always going to be excuses. So if something it's giving you an excuse, if something is distracting you, you just gotta get rid of it. And for me, it was social media, especially Instagram. So I just went ahead and deleted it. Have I failed to completely get off of it? Yes, I have. However, it's not as bad as it was before. And we're looking for progress. We're not looking to achieve something overnight. We're looking to work at it so much that we can see some progress every single day that will eventually get us to achieving the goal we have set to ourselves. So if something is not allowing you to shine the way you're supposed to in whatever you are doing for yourself or for somebody else, then that has to go. That has to go. There's no other way around. Moving forward, I learned about myself that I enjoy giving something way more than I do receiving something. Now that's good because some of you might say, oh, then that means you're very selfish. No, you are very unselfish and you care more for others than you do for yourself. And yes, I agree that that's an awesome trait that is very beautiful when somebody has it. However, I do gotta say that I gotta have to change this mentality a little bit. Because I have to equally enjoy receiving. It's not saying that I'm just gonna, take all the joy from giving something and then just put it into receiving to the point where I become selfish indeed and I become a jerk. No, that's not what I want. What I want is just to keep the same level and to increase it over time, the level of, enjoying giving something to somebody else. But I gotta work into believing that I am worthy enough to receive all the blessings that are coming my way, to receive what God wants to add in my life based on my capabilities, just like the story of the talents. You start with 5 and then you go up to 10, not by chance, but because you generated another 5 with those primary 5. And that's why you have 10, because you worked for it. If you have 2 talents and you receive 4, that's just not because of luck. That is because you worked really hard to invest in those 2 so you could get a return on those 4. Now you cannot be afraid or be sad or be what's the word? or be distasteful when it comes to receiving something, just like the person that received that single one time. Because if you don't enjoy what you receive, then you're definitely not gonna let all those blessings that are coming into your life, you're not gonna fully let them into your heart and into your life, which then they won't produce the fruit they're meant to produce for you to have more and to receive more, and in that same manner to give more to those who you care about. So yeah, that's what I learned from it. And lastly, as I was talking, how I went to mass and how that the gospel of that day woke me up, it definitely made me analyze and reconsider some of the priorities I have in my life. And when the priest was reading the gospel, something popped right into my mind. It was a quote from the Bible, from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 21. For where your treasure is, there your heart will also be. In Mass, they were talking about how sometimes people worry about the early things that we all know we cannot take with us in our death. We can leave them behind, but no matter how much we collect over our lifetimes, none of the things that we can collect, not all the money, not all the property, not all the cars, not all the luxuries, none of it can come with us when it's our time to go. So then why? Then why are we putting so much effort, so much dedication into getting these things that at the end of the day will not serve us in our deathbed? And as he was talking about it, then he said, but God tells you right here, right now, that you should focus on getting richer in your spirit. Focus on the treasures in heaven that will be given to you if you follow Jesus, if you follow God and His commands, if you follow the Bible, if you live your life in a way that you're continuously involving God into, whether it's your business life, your physical life, your emotional, your mental, your social, your intellectual, all the aspects of your life should be directly influenced and mainly influenced by what God is telling you in the Bible, which is the secret that will open those treasures in heaven that indeed will be the ones you need when once it's time for you and me to go and meet our Creator. So after hearing all that, I truly gotta analyze the path I am currently on and then find whether the current path that I'm on is actually taking me where I want my life to go, which is towards God. I think that's probably gonna be the difficult part. And like I said, it's probably not gonna be achieved overnight. But we're looking for progress every single day. And when we least expect it, the results will just come rushing into our life. So those were the lessons of the week. So let's go over the expectations from last week. I did say I was going to use an accountability method to make sure I achieved all of my goals for this past week. However, I didn't do it because I think my head was a little bit of around all the place, and I was putting a lot more effort into a few of the main things of my non-negotiables that, like, as I mentioned in the past episode, I was putting more time towards my non-negotiables than to my expectations or my side goals, in a sense, from this past week. But I did finish my mentor's book for trading, which was one of the goals. I did finish reading Mother Teresa's Secret Fire, which was awesome. However, I did not finish journaling all my trades, which is a habit I'm trying to develop, because I'm committing some childish mistakes when it comes to trading, which right now, I mean, as I'm starting and with the initial money I have invested, it's not a big deal, honestly. I can sleep, with peace. It doesn't really affect me much. However, when it comes to bigger investments, which I know I'm gonna be doing in the future, these childish mistakes can definitely cost a lot. So if I start the habit of journaling my trades, I can definitely just get better and not getting worse, if that makes sense. Then I also said I was gonna do an Instagram detox to optimize my time productivity and focus on what really matters. I didn't do it. I have no excuse for that. I think sometimes I use my breaks, and I quote them breaks because science has proven that, though, looking at your screen when you're working and then taking a break from it to look at your screen on your phone and dumb scrolling, that's not really a break. Your brain is still like functioning, and that's how you get some of the unexpected burnouts, especially when you are working or when you're studying, which has happened to me a lot in both situations. So no excuses about that one. I just did some progress. Yes, I did have some progress. I spend less time in my phone, more time doing the things that I know I'm supposed to do throughout those days. So I'm really happy with that. But I gotta keep going because, like Kobe Bryant, the GOAT, will say, the Mamba mentality. Job's not finished. It simply is not. When will it be finished? You'll definitely know when it will be finished. So those were my expectations from last week. Now let's talk about the expectations for this week. So I want to finish the pre-interview survey because I am currently and I am trying to reach out as many people who I want to interview on my podcast, who I really want to get to know at a deeper level, and who I want to tell their story that build up to the person they are today, to the amazing personality and character they have today, and for others to be able to learn from their mistakes, from their success, from their trajectory, and maybe even, I guess, even get a little bit of I wouldn't say a sneak peek, but just to get an idea, a really solid idea of who these people might become in the future. Because I know that a lot of people that I'm going to be interviewing, I know that they are going to be so successful in life. in whatever fields they're going into, in whatever niches they're going into. Niches, in whatever niche they're going into. There you go. And whatever they put themselves up to. So I want to make sure I interview the next Elon Musk, the next Steve Jobs, the next Jeff Bezos before they become those characters. Something else that I want to put as a goal is to be on time and presentable at every single day for my mentoring meetings. I think it would do me so great to kind of like get back into that mentality of showing up right on time, which I do have a rule for that. 5 minutes before the meeting time, it's on time. Getting there on time or at the time of the meeting, that's just being late. And being 5 minutes late to the meeting, that means that you never arrived. I think I could definitely benefit and used my time as a mentor to practice being on time, punctuality, which is very appreciated, especially when you're starting on your projects. Then I have also a goal to finish half of Shoe Dog, which is a book that I'm reading about Phil Knight's history, which is the co-founder of Nike. Super great book, totally recommended. It definitely gives you the motivation, and more than the motivation, it gives you hope to believe that you can do it. That if characters like him that have very similar circumstances to their time, just like you have specific circumstances to our contemporary time, these stories give you hope that one day, if you keep working at it, despite anything, that you will definitely make it to where you want to go. So finish half of this great book. Should be totally on the back. And lastly, I think this is probably the most important one. Definitely the most important one. Is to get back into Bible journaling time. So I had a habit back in College Station that I have left slowly on the side this summer, but I definitely want to get back into, and it's Bible journaling. And I think the benefits that this had in my spiritual life were so great that once it filled up that cup of my spiritual health, if you want to look at it that way, it just kept overflowing into the rest of the cups, which led me to being at a peak on my physical health and also my mental health, my academic life, my social life, and especially my mental stability. So yeah, I want to get back into it because I do have an app that is called, I do not remember. I think it's Bible Study or Bible app that allows me to get quotes based on some of the struggles I'm experiencing that day. I'm probably gonna just leave the link on the description, or probably just gonna pop it in there. It's a really great app. They are not advertising me. They are not paying me to say this. I think they have done so much for me that the only way I can pay it back is just to mention this tool for you guys. And it's super great. It gives you certain passages from the Bible based on some of the challenges and some of the feelings you're experiencing that day. So it's super helpful, and it guides you in a sort of way to how to let the passage sink in and for you to better understand it while also finding a way that you can apply it into your life, which is beautiful. So I'm probably going to leave the app link on the description. So be on the lookout for that. And that was it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I am definitely getting more comfortable with talking in front of the camera, talking about my life. And even if nobody's watching, I know that at least one person is. And that is my future self. So keep going at it, man. You're doing great. I know you probably have struggles that I don't know about yet, but just know you got it. Just know that God chose you for a reason. You know that God put you on this path because He believes in your potential. So now's your time to believe in your potential. So thank you again for watching, and hopefully I'll get back to you guys next week, and hopefully very soon get back into the main series of this podcast, which is the interviews. I'm gonna try to get working on those as soon as possible to make them a reality. So with that being said, have a great morning, afternoon, or evening. I am Everray. Thank you for watching and staying tuned in my podcast, Que Chilerísimo. I hope to see you guys soon, and God bless.